Hey, what's up guys? Will here for GSM Arena. Usually when comparing phones, you'd treat Apple and Android phones separately, but what would actually happen if you put the flagships head to head? In this video, we're going to take this year's top-tier iPhone 15 Pro Max and compare it to a premium Android flagship, the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. So which one comes out on top? Let's get into it. In case you aren't familiar, the iPhone 15 Pro Max is Apple's new flagship, which brings a switch from Lightning to a USB-C port and a new periscope zoom. Meanwhile, the Galaxy S23 Ultra is well known for its overclocked chipset, versatile cameras, and stylus support. When it comes to the design, the two phones are of course quite different. The iPhone isn't compact by any means, but by all metrics it's still smaller than the Galaxy. The iPhone 15 Pro Max has a flat titanium frame and huge camera housing. The Galaxy S23 Ultra has a curved armor aluminum frame and a more subtle camera setup with almost flush cameras. Its back is made from Gorilla Glass Victus 2, while the glass on the back of the iPhone isn't specified. Both phones are IP68 rated for dust and water resistance, but the iPhone is rated to survive a depth of 6 meters, while the Galaxy is just up to 1.5 meters. The iPhone does bring one extra hardware button, called the Action Key. You can program it to launch different functions or shortcuts. Both the iPhone 15 Pro Max and the Galaxy S23 Ultra have some of the largest OLEDs on the market right now. The iPhone's is a 6.7-inch Super Retina XDR OLED with a 120Hz refresh rate and is protected by ceramic shield glass. The S23 Ultra's display is a 6.8-inch Dynamic AMOLED with a 120Hz refresh rate and Gorilla Glass Victus 2 protection. With this QHD resolution, the S23 Ultra's display is sharper than the iPhone 15 Pro Max's. The pixel density is 500 ppi versus 460 ppi. But the iPhone supports both HDR10+ and Dolby Vision, while the latter isn't supported on the Galaxy. Another advantage of the iPhone is that it has higher max brightness. While the brightness with the manual slider is about the same, around 840 nits, the iPhone can boost to nearly 1800 nits in auto mode, versus around 1300 on the Galaxy. The Galaxy S23 Ultra's screen has a unique feature you won't find on any iPhone: stylus support, plus all of the extra functionality that provides. The stylus can even be tucked into the phone itself. On the iPhone, you get the Dynamic Island. Apple uses the space around the pill-shaped selfie cutout to display information and give shortcuts to certain apps. Thanks to the secondary TOF sensor next to the selfie cam, the iPhone has very secure Face ID and relies on that for biometrics. The Galaxy doesn't have such secure face unlock, and instead you'd most likely use the under-display fingerprint reader. The iPhone 15 Pro Max and Galaxy S23 Ultra have stereo speakers, both with very good loudness. The sound quality is also equally great. You can compare the two with the provided link. Of course, you'll get vastly different software on either phone. The iPhone comes with Apple's latest iOS. Meanwhile, the Galaxy is an Android phone using Samsung's One UI. The software experience is one of the major considerations when deciding which one of these to buy. Either way, both manufacturers have solid software support, promising a similar number of major updates. Both phones have the option to connect to an external monitor, although Samsung's DeX is more advanced. You get full screen output, and you can achieve a desktop-like experience. The connection can be wireless as well. What you get on the iPhone is basically screen mirroring, with black bars on the sides. A cable is required, and you can achieve full screen output only on certain apps like Netflix. When it comes to the chipset, both of these phones bring top-notch hardware. The iPhone 15 Pro Max has Apple's cutting-edge A17 Pro chipset. The Galaxy S23 Ultra uses the most powerful Qualcomm chip, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy. It's tough to compare the performance of these two objectively because these are entirely different hardware and software platforms. But each of these phones is the top of the line, and they can run everything you'd want without a hitch. The two phones have a different battery capacity, 4,441 mAh on the Pro Max and 5,000 mAh on the S23 Ultra. As you'd expect, the battery life on the Galaxy is a bit better, with an endurance rating of 126 hours in our proprietary tests, versus 118 hours on the iPhone. Still, the difference isn't much, and actually the screen on times on the iPhone are slightly longer. The iPhone 15 Pro Max is officially rated for 20-watt wired charging, while the S23 Ultra is rated at 45 watts. neither phone comes with a charger in the box. Charging speed is faster on the Galaxy. With a proper charger, it was able to go from 0 to 68% in half an hour. The iPhone charged to 46% in the same amount of time. Also, while both phones support wireless charging, the S23 Ultra also has reverse wireless charging to top up accessories with. On the iPhone, you have to rely on a cable connection for that. Now we have the cameras. The iPhone 15 Pro Max comes with a 48-megapixel main cam, a 12-megapixel 5x telephoto cam, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide cam, and a 3D TOF LiDAR scanner. Meanwhile, the S23 Ultra has a 200-megapixel main camera, a 10-megapixel 3x telephoto, a 10-megapixel 10x telephoto, and a 12-megapixel ultra-wide cam. While the Galaxy's main cam has a way higher megapixel count, because of pixel binning, it produces 12-megapixel photos. The iPhone processes photos in a different way and produces 24-megapixel photos from its main cam by default. The iPhone's photos have more detail with less sharpening and a more natural rendition. Its colors are also more natural, but some people may prefer Samsung's punchier look. Both phones can produce a 2x digital crop from the main camera, but the iPhone's shots look better. The Galaxy just has too much added sharpening. At 3x zoom, the S23 Ultra is the winner with its dedicated 3x telephoto cam. Then we get to 5x zoom and the roles reverse. While these photos from the S23 Ultra are decent, the ones from the proper 5x telephoto on the iPhone are much better. Finally, we have the 10x zoom. The Galaxy, of course, is better with its dedicated camera, but the iPhone still does a decent job here. The photos from the ultra-wide cameras are quite similar, excluding the different color rendition, but the Galaxy's brings a little bit more detail. On both devices, we shot all the low-light photos with the auto night mode. Those from the main cam are similar. The S23 Ultra's shots do have warmer colors and slightly wider dynamic range. When it comes to zooming at night, the outcomes are similar to those during the day. The iPhone has a better 2x digital zoom. And after that, at each magnification, the phone with a dedicated camera wins over the one using a digital crop. At 10x zoom though, both phones prefer to use the main cam, and when they do, the results aren't great. When it comes to video recording, both phones are excellent, but a small bonus goes to the iPhone for Dolby Vision and ProRes log recording. The regular daylight videos are equally great, although the Galaxy's video has higher contrast and more sharpening. Both phones offer class-leading stabilization, so it's another tie here. As with the stills, the Galaxy does a better job at 3x zoom with its dedicated telephoto. Meanwhile, the iPhone's 5x footage from its own telephoto cam is better than the 5x zoom from the other phone. The 10x videos are nothing impressive on both, but they are a bit more detailed from the S23 Ultra. Of course, the S23 Ultra also offers 8K video recording, which might provide a bit more detail with the right scene and the right screen. The nighttime videos are on par across both smartphones. The Galaxy S23 Ultras have a bit higher contrast and more saturated colors. Both phones feature a 12-megapixel selfie cam with autofocus. The quality here is quite comparable. And here's a comparison of the 4K selfie videos taken with either phone. So there you have it guys, the top iPhone versus arguably the top Android phone. So which one is best? The iPhone 15 Pro Max has better water resistance and a brighter display with Dolby Vision. You get slightly better camera quality from its main cam and a 2x and 5x zoom. And there are unique features like Face ID, the Dynamic Island, and the Action Key. The Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra has stylus support and better camera quality at 3x and 10x zoom. It brings faster charging and reverse wireless charging. And DeX is a powerful tool, much more advanced than the iPhone's screen mirroring. Like I mentioned before, probably the biggest consideration is whether you prefer Apple or Android. Each software experience and ecosystem brings its own pros and cons. Besides that, both of these phones are really neck and neck, and whether one of these is a better choice over the other really depends on your own personal needs. Thanks for watching guys, and see you on the next one.